how are you?
Pretty good considering.
Yeah, you're looking at summary
Yeah,
and
making
all
the
these
attempt.
things.
We've only got 2 days of sun, so that is.
Yeah. So Justin, tell me a little bit about your organization.
Right, so United Borders originally formed after a young kid in Church Road got killed, called, sorry, rude of me. I don't know myself. Called James Owusu, sorry. He lived across the road from my mum, and was shot a number of times, and he's one of those youths, those good youths.
Mm-hmm.
Goes university part-time, looked after his mum full-time as a full-time carer.
Wow.
Obviously, being from the Church Road neighbourhood and residing between Church Road and Stonebridge, I kind of saw where the conflict happened, and this is part of the fallout from that age-old conflict. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like compelled to do something after he got killed, and that's when I set about setting up the project, which was buying a double-decker bus, putting studio equipment on it, and the first thing that we was assigned to do was try and do a cross-border initiative between Stonebridge and Church Road. Apparently there was a fund with Brent that had been there for a number of years that no one could actually access because they couldn't get the two sides to work together. So I said, all right, cool. Let me help some people from Bridge, help some people from Church Road, and get the two to fuse. So we had a week-long exercise with sort of more the heart of it, though, is the gang members. And the way we kind of worked it was we'd go to Church Road in the morning with the bus and make music in Church Road, and then we go to Stonebridge in the afternoon and make music with those guys. So the music we was producing in Church Road, we'll take it to Bridge and say, yeah, we produced some beats for you. Done the same thing with Church Road. So unknowingly, everyone was working together and didn't actually know. Then at the end of the week, we just said, look, the man that made your music and vice versa. How do you feel about, broken a thing and actually getting some music done together? And everyone was like, well, actually, as long as it's going to be a one-artist situation, there's no madness, then we'll be up for it. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So we got my gang members to actually come together, work together, and actually, make music for the day.
When you say gang members, are these older?
No, these are young. A lot of these are young cats, and their elders would have been my age, and enough of them don't know their elders like that no more. Do you understand? So these are young people making their own decisions, doing what they need to do. But it just kind of showed me that there's a younger generation also that's caught up in the postcode thing. I don't really want to be a part of it, but they're a part of it by way they live here, so they can't go over there. So we've got people that, for instance, that came to Church Road to our studio, and they're all of 20 years of age and they've never been to Church Road before. And I'm like, what?
What?
Just never stepped foot, in Church Road. Just wouldn't even consider it because of the vibes. Yeah, and then you've less than a mile apart, really, the two areas. But yet still, they may as well be just two opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of
Australia and England, do you think that it's trickled down from the elders?
Yeah, it's
they don't know how to.
Yeah, definitely, it's age-old things, and a lot of I don't know. I think back in our days, say, I'm a child of the '70s, late '70s. So when two people had beef, that was between two people, and because we were so intricate, we frequented each other's areas. We was in Kensal Rise, down Borderline, we was in Church Road, down the front. You know what I mean? Stonebridge. We was frequenting each other's areas, so no one could ever have a problem with an area per se. You'd be in an area later. So if you had an area with someone, so if you had beef with someone, that was you and that person. And I hate that. And if anything, if people felt compelled, they'll get in the middle, crush it out. If you two felt a certain way about it, that was between you two. Now, after certain murders had taken place, that's when the whole thing got a little bit sectarian. And it was like this area vs that area. But a lot of the elders at my age group, we kind of moved with our nuclear families and came out of the area. So the younger people kind of left to kind of govern themselves, more or less, So the violence kind of splintered into like little pockets, and now this area don't deal with that area. I'm thinking, well, how is that? These youths no longer ever go. Church Road youths will not go into Stonebridge.
Do you think if the OGs came out and say, all right, guys, look, this is what it is, and we're not squashing our beef, it's time to move on, and you think that will make any difference
Not
to
really.
where
I think
is now?
I think it makes some difference, but you've got to be able to kind of meet young people where they are, innit? So if we just came with a project and we just said, look, guys, we just want the violence to stop, they'd be like, all right, old man, move on, innit? But because we're actually engaging with the things they actually care about, they want to do music, it's a free studio. You want to do music videos, we've got access to free videos for you. We can plug you into every network that if you watch Grime GR Daily, I've got links for that. We've got links everywhere. Business Partners got a music production deal with Sony. So if you're actually serious about wanting to pursue music, we can get you to do that. If you want to go into other avenues in terms of the creative industry, we've got a partnership with Sonos, for example. So our young people are not just coming to us just to do a course and then leave. We can get you jobs through Sonos internships, that kind of thing. So I think you have to be able to impact young people where they're at. And once you can do that, that's when you've kind of got the ability to say, all right, cool, well, this is how it is. Because bearing in mind, a lot of the youth them who are still on the ends, who are still, selling drugs or whatever the hell they're doing, they're not doing it by themselves. They're working through an elder
Through
network,
someone,
you understand? But at the end of the day, those people can still impact them, so that's why they're relevant. So you've got to be able to impact them and make yourself relevant, and then you can say, all right, cool, let's try and work towards a situation, if that makes sense.
Okay, I was going to say, when it comes to your project,
Yeah.
do you have other things that you probably branch out besides music? Is there anything else that you have been trying to put out there for them?
Yeah. I mean, we cover the whole artistic spectrum. The reason being is because a lot of our young people who are expelled from school, you'll find that academically some of them might struggle. So we're trying to maneuver down the arts field because we think a lot of those people that struggle academically, they thrive artistically, So we offer, we've got music, we also have got photography classes, and we've got videography, and we've got fashion design as well. So we've partnered with a fashion outlet called Sprints Design there in Park Road. They do a lot of apparel for young people, etc. So we're just trying to impact anything artistically. We've also got a tutor called Pastor Yinka, who's from the South Kilburn estate, and he's a great mathematician. So he offers all of our young people additional maths as well. So we very much, the way we operate is that even though we might, our courses run for at least 2 months, for me, it's just, and we've got a graduation at the end of it as well in Brent Civic Centre, so it's quite a big fanfare. Young people bring their family or bring someone who's interested in their learning. The way we kind of operate is more about building a relationship. So once they're there for a period of time, even if one of these courses ain't necessarily for them, within that space of time, we'll be able to find out where their skill set lies or where their passion truly lies and actually push them towards it, So, yeah, we offer other things in that regard. I know we also do self-defense as well. So as my young guy to the right of me can testify, he's been helping us with a few of our shoots in terms of promoting the physical workouts that we do. So we offer kickboxing as well, boxing, norm, because at the end of the day, a lot of our young people are in situations where it's fight or flight, whether we like it or not. It's a reality. And we offer yoga as well. So trying to get young people to really get into yoga. I know they think it's an older person's thing, but I think just being able to breathe deeply and think about something before you actually have to react to it can make all the difference as to whether you're in jail or whether you go home that night, So
Channeling,
yeah, so there's other things like that. Plus, we've got some live events that we've got coming up, some really big live events, but it's more with a community face. So, we've kind of seen a situation where Wireless and all these big events, now we've got the Ends Festival in Croydon. They're doing their thing, and they're in the areas, but the people in the areas are not making the money, So we've got 1 or 2 live events coming up by where young people were trained to be events management, and we pair them up with festival organisers, and they learn how to do their own event in their own area. We also set up a limited company for them, so it's their company, it's not mine. It's not no one else's, it's your company. We sit on it as a trust, and we just direct you to doing your own live event, basically. So
help you build,
our kind of our outlet really is not just doing things that's nice to do. Do you know what I mean? We're doing things which is practical, and we also put ourselves under pressure to make our young people money, because I think a lot of give back organisations or whatever you want to call them, charities, we're too focused on just holding our youth for a certain amount of time and working on the well-being side of it. Great. But we've got to face reality. A lot of our young people are pressured financially, They're in an era now where they're on their phones 24/7, and what's being marketed to them and pushed to them is materialistic stuff. We're trying to obviously build them so you've got stronger character so you can wait for those materials. But at the same time, a lot of our young people now, they're in a world where they don't have to wait till they're 21, 18 to work or to make money. So we really put ourselves under pressure to, try and see where our young people's skill sets are and try and make them monetize from those skill sets, because then it will give them encouragement to continue down that path.
I mean, in terms of what you're doing, it's really good and it's fruitful.
Thank you.
I remember looking at the job centre.
Yeah.
And you see that whole borderline thing where you live in a certain place and the postcode says you have to go and sign on over there. And you're from over there. You go by surname. So it doesn't matter which postcode you're from. you may be sent to the job centre that's nearer to the area that you can't go in.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this course which was so good,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a one-time offer.
Mhm.
And these people said they will fund it, so you don't have to pay it back.
Right,
Yeah? And I said, I want to see who's going to go.
right.
And I went, and I stood there for a while, and I
Mm.
looked around. No one came.
Yeah.
One gentleman came, and he was 47.
Okay.
But it was for a younger age.
Right, right, right.
But he was like, I'm still keen to learn, because they were giving you a business.
Right.
See, like as you're saying, limited company,
Yeah.
etc. So it's really good to, you see, the job centre don't care about that,
Yeah.
that you are given a borderline.
Yeah.
So it's good to have some, you know, this is what we're talking about. What can we do? The what can you do is right in front of us.
Mm.
This is something that the job centre does not look into, the council does not look into, the government does not look into. So I think we were having this conversation just yesterday about sharing webs, sharing the things that are fruitful to us,
Yeah.
and that's what we need to do. I'm in your area and I didn't know about it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we're kind of like just getting back because I set the project up in 2017. A number of things happened actually. I mean, my
Okay.
son was nearly murdered last year, so he was
Okay.
stabbed like 11 times.
Oh, yeah.
Off the Rayners Lane estate. And
Yeah.
yeah, and
Mhm.
kind of resonated with me. Obviously, I know Peanut from a long time and know
Mhm.
about Kamara as well. So
Yeah.
it just kind of gets to a point, and it's a weird one because I set my project up before these things happened.
Mhm.
I spoke to TFL and I said, look, I work in management in TFL. I bought my own bus and I'm working towards helping knife crime. This was in 2017, which for me was already peaking. So when everyone's actually acting like 2018 at a peak, to whatever, you know, every year it was peaking for me because I knew of people that had lost their children. Do you know what I mean? So spoke to TFL. There wasn't no help. I spoke to Sadiq Khan. There was all fluffy stuff, but the reality is nobody was really willing to help. So I just set about doing things my own, basically. And obviously, halfway through the year, you know, you run into funding issues. That was the first thing. Because even though we showed cross-border gangs working together, I thought, okay, now Brent actually seeing that, they're going to be, okay, here's the money, keep doing what have you not. But yeah, it was an eye-opener for me in terms of the people who are actually trying to support and not support. But coming into 2018, yeah, my son was nearly killed on January the 2nd, and that kind of took away the focus for what I wanted to do, because I work with high-risk young people. I work with young people, some who have stabbed people, some who have nearly been killed themselves. So I just had to step back a little bit and support my sons first and foremost through a kind of traumatic time. And then I think 4 months after my son was nearly killed, my bus was actually burnt down. Yeah, so my bus was parked in Hadfield Heath, arson attack. Some village youths just decided to burn my bus down. So my mission changed from doing it. That's what it was. It was some village kids. My bus was parked in the village in Hatfield Heath. So part of the reason why I was talking to TFL was trying to obtain parking in London, because every day I was driving an extra hour and a half out of the capital to go and park in some lorry site essentially. Some young villagers basically burnt it down, and then my whole mission changed from running a project to getting a project back on its feet again. So I won an award for my services to grassroots initiatives called Leap Awards. At the award ceremony, it was held in Bloomberg Building, which is a really prestigious building in the city, and they've got quite a lot of the elite are at this award ceremony. And one group of bankers basically heard the story, and they were just like, look, we want to help you get back up again. What would it take? So I said, well, my bus, probably like around 45K. They was like, cool, come and see us next week. That was it. Bang, check done, boom. Went out and bought a bus. That was it. Back on the road again. So it's weird because a lot of, you know, if you look at the private companies and private banks, they don't always have a good spiel. And, you know, some of it for the right reasons, do you know what I mean? But for me, to date, the majority of my funding has come through private backing. It's not really come through councils, because they're quick to tell you about austerity, or what I call cuts crime, which has exasperated things with our young people to where we are today. But I definitely know that in order for us to kind of break the cycle of what is, it's going to take everyone to come together, like it really is. So day before yesterday, I spoke to an old associate of mine, an old friend of mine, brethren, Shane Taylor, also known as Hypo. And I ain't spoken to him literally. The last time I spoke to him, he was on the road. This is 2006, I take it, right? And these are guys who we was running, we was running back and forth back in the day. And to hear him now, like this is probably like, 13 years on or something like that? A good 13-year stretch. And his whole thing to me is like, yo, you need to, and we ain't spoken since then, like, yo, you need to maintain what you're doing, brother, because these youths are coming in here and they can't really hack the time that they're getting. You understand what I'm saying to you? Enough of them are on the hype thing, but when they come in here, it's the elders that have to got to really hold them together because they're losing it in here, you understand? So I was like, wow. So that's like, that's the kind of story that these young people are not hearing, And I worked in Feltham as well as a prison officer for like 2 years. And that was really just to see where the youth state of mind was, you know what I mean? And it was kind of an eye-opener for me, shocking at the same time, but it was one of them ones where it informed me as a parent. I just thought, okay, cool, if I don't really put the work in with my sons, and I'm there, I was married, was with my sons, till 21, 20, them kind of ages. But there's one thing being there, there's another thing being active. So being in Feltham kind of like informed me I need to be more active in my sons' lives, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, the stabbing that happened with my son last year, it rings true that don't think that it's a certain set of people, because everyone's from up gangs or da-da-da-da. That's not the case. Like, wrong place, wrong time, that's you.
As you touched on that, I was going to say, one of the points I felt should be made is that we do need to, I call it infect, children with that understanding of what it's like to really be in there, because we could tell them stories.
Yeah.
Or they could go in for a bit and it's like, it's okay, because they've breezed through. They haven't had that shock factor. Boot camps is something I thought of, like, why do they not have a chance to go in and really be shaken by the real, the people who are serving life, doing the real time that they could end up doing? Because I don't think they really see it. It's just a myth to them until they actually end up in there.
I'm actually speaking to a prison right now where there's a lot of lifers, basically, and it is to try and get that message from lifers to, to the new ones kind of thing, to the young ones. Because, I imagine working in Feltham, you've got like 30 youths for each unit, and probably like 5 or 6 of them are doing life, and you're thinking 15, you're doing life at 15. Enough of them don't even know what they've signed up to, but the reality hits them, and when I was there, the reality would be hitting them, and they'll be like, listen, Finny, let me out my cell, and I'm like, what do you want to do? Clean up the landing or something. So I'm like, so it's taken for you to come to jail, to do life, to work for £1 a week, brother. You could have been sweeping the community in your own community, 30 bags a year. You're going to look past that clean. But it takes you to be here in jail, bored in your cell, and now you're doing anything, you're willing to do anything to come out. And this is the harsh reality that they only, once they hit jail, it's probably like maybe 4 or 5 months. That same circle you've been running with all your life, and you're talking about GSEC or whatever the hell. 4 or 5 months later, no one don't remember you.
4 or 5 hours and them guys.
No one
Not no months anymore.
It's your mum, it's your dad, it's your brothers, your sisters. Those are the people that are fighting on you. Those are the people that are sending letters. Those are the people year in, year out that are trying to get a pill. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, it's not your people, it's not your guys that you're running with,
I was watching, I think it's Murray. And I don't know if anyone has seen it, but what he does is he takes the I'd like to say the bad breed pitting of them and put them in either in a prison for the day, or you be in a coffin for an hour, just to feel that reality. Do you think that's something we could take and implement it over here to change what is going on now with our youths?
I just think it's probably like a lot easier to be active in your child's life. Well, a lot of these things, we've got to be real. Like, a lot of the youths that I'm working with, there's no father figure.
Yeah.
There's no real, do you understand? So my job now, I'm running a project, but essentially I'm also a father to be a youth.
Yeah.
They'll phone me any time of the night and tell me X and Y. Do you understand? And I've got to try and help them navigate situations. I can only do it now because my sons are grown. When my sons were growing up and were still, they've never been of that kind of, what are we going to do? But, teenagers, hormonal, things happen. But my kids have always been in that situation where uni, until you know what you want to do, you go uni, you do that kind of jug, you understand? If you don't want to do the uni run and you know what you want, cool, let me know, we'll back you 110. What I'm not up for is laziness. What I'm not up for is street corners. What I'm not up for is just not really fulfilling your full potential, you understand? So I just kind of feel that we've got way too much young black youths running around, like, and they don't have enough input from not just fathers, uncles, you understand? Like when I was in Church Road, my dad was who my dad was, but my elders could tell me what they need to tell me. Sometimes it didn't even get to my dad. Sometimes it was just my elders that said to me, yo, hear what I'm saying to you, man, you understand? And
because we had fear, but my generation had fear.
yeah.
So we couldn't do certain things on the road. I remember this one time, it was in Jamaica, but I'm just going to tell the story anyway. I went downtown, and everyone said downtown is the ghetto.
Yeah.
And before I got home, my mum knew that I was in the ghetto.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about my grandmother. She's a very smart woman. She never said nothing to me. Every Sunday, as God live and know, I would get a beating. I wouldn't know what the beating was for until she finished beating me. She said, oh yeah, my beating because my friend told me, say, she see in the ghetto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had that fear that I would never go certain places or do certain things where my mum's family or friends would see me. Now I think the youths, they don't have that fear. You can't talk to them.
I think it's different. I think fear manifests itself in different ways. What we're seeing right now is youths that fear each other. That's why we are where we are. I don't really think fear alone kept you within a certain confinement. I think that's also about love and knowing that people around you protect you, and they're so annoyed when you kind of go off the beaten track that you might get a beating. Fair enough. But there's a whole lot of love that's injected in you to get you to where you are. Got beaten as a youth, but I also got to be a love as a youth. There's enough youths that don't know about that. There's enough youths that don't really know how their father operates to even look at their dad and say, okay, I move like him a little bit, you understand? They don't have that natural relationship, that nurture relationship. So I'm not really one of those people that you're going to see certain things that I'm talking here, I'm talking it because it's us, innit? Like when I'm on TV, it's a different thing. You get me? I protect our community to the fullest, and I won't accept them trying to say, well, where are the fathers, where are this? I'm not into that. Like you lot, don't try to come with your nonsense, because I see through their foolishness. Yeah, I see through their foolishness as well. And the reality is, there's bare dads around that's doing the work, and you don't want to give them the profile that you want to give the young killers. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, but like internally, I think there has to be, like for me, I've always said, if you want someone done, or you're in a relationship and that relationship's finished, yeah, you got to work harder, yeah, than when you was in the relationship. Because when you're in the relationship, you can get away with being lazy sometimes, or emotionally being lazy, because you're there. You see, when you're no longer there as a physical presence day in, day out, and your children feel like they want to overrule mum. As a male. Yeah, as a male, yeah, and your children feel like they want to overrule mum or whatever it is, you got to have extra support for your partner. Don't be talking slick about your partner and she's looking after your youths, you understand? Even if you don't like certain things.
What about if there's a barrier kind of put there?
Yeah, I know. If there's a barrier, then it's a village mentality. You have to. And sometimes you got to take licks because they're relevant. Majority of relationships that break down between man and woman is true man stupidness, isn't it? Yeah. It's never because women just want to act up and be dumb, innit? So as part of that cycle, really and truly, what our sons are involved in has got more to do with us men really repairing, because it's not young boys trying to follow their mums. Let's be clear. Enough of us was on some rude boyism back in the day. Enough of us looked up to gangsterism, and our youths know that, so they know what we look up to. Whether we want to try and be whatever, they know culturally what we was assimilating ourselves and them into. So it's for us to kind of say, all right, Koi, we've got to look at badness as we look at paedophilia. It's got to be that. It's got to be that real. Like we look at badness as we look at paedophilia. Some idiot thing, man for dead. That's how we got to start looking at badness. You know what I mean? We understand poverty breeds certain things, but the way we're kind of okay with certain badness and not okay when it affects, you understand? It's this kind of like hypocrisy that, I think is kind of killing the community. We need to just kind of, just not be on it at all.
That's part of what I fight with when it comes to parenting. I always say, I know we want to be friendly to our children. Friendly should have a borderline.
Yeah.
No friendly where we're sitting down, chilling, drinking, smoking, and all sorts.
Yeah.
I don't care how old my child is. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because how I see it is, when you fall out of place for yourself, you're still going to come to me as a mother. So when did I transform? So you have to keep your position, I keep mine. but we still have to have a level where I can listen, can sit down, can hear your cry, you hear mine. At the same time, as mothers, I think we fall on our children as well. We have a time where we need them. We
Yeah.
need that little look to say, I hear you.
I got you.
So
Yeah.
it's like, because we need one another, I find that once you start over ignoring that child being a child,
Yeah.
and as we say, doing things alongside them, we ruin it. We ruin it because we should have a boundary. It should be there. How I see it is, some of my friends, for example, their children are following them.
Yeah.
Yeah? My friends are not all good examples
Yeah.
because their habits are long-term from where they stemmed from.
Yeah.
Certain things happen to them for them to be in that position.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to this child for this child to take up that habit. They took it because they saw it as normal from you. So if you keep it separate, the child will grow at least with a neutral ground to work on.
Yeah.
So at least if you've given them that borderline that I was talking about, you can be in this side or that side. It will be up to them later on.
Yeah.
But when you actually have it, it's like having a house full of people drinking, smoking, chilling. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
What's the outcome? What's the
Yeah.
child going to be? Half of what they're going to be is just from what you've forced upon them mentally, really.
Mhm.
So I just think some things we can avoid. There are examples that I've given my children by how I do things.
Yeah.
But I'm crazy. When I'm
Yeah.
ready, I enjoy myself. I have a
Yeah.
great time,
Normal.
you know?
All these
So,
things.
yeah.
All these things are normal. It's just
So
that when you're if you're a mum,
Keep it there.
if you're a single parent mum,
Mm.
you don't get a chance to choose when you're the perfect mum or not.
Yeah.
They've got to deal with you 24/7. So this is when I hear guys trying to come with critique of women, I'm like, allow it, because we get to choose what kind of dad we're going to be. 'Cause
What
we come out
time.
for 2 days a week or
Mhm.
whatever we do. So it's just like
Part-time.
superhero walking through the door, innit? So
Mhm.
it's one of those ones.
Experience.
Yeah, you come through like a shit don't
Yeah.
stink. And that's nice, isn't it? Mums don't get to do that. If I was a dad and my son had to be with me 24/7, roll with me when I'm broke, roll with me when I don't feel good about myself, when my mojo's low, that's a whole different thing. And mums have to do all of that unprotected. And oftentimes, not for them are still in domestic violence. How much girlfriends I've got, and I'm like, what? Domestic violence still a go on? Because amongst me and my peers, that's not on. If a man's beating up his girl, you can't move with the man then. You know the ones there. So when I still hear all these kind of things going on, do you know what I mean? Man don't want to pay for their youths. I'm not giving her money because it's giving her money. I'm like, Virgin, if your missus feels good, your youths are good. You know the ones that irrespective, have a budget put down. Yeah, if you're not happy, set up your youths bank, in it. Do something, but don't just sit down and be in the blame game. And I think enough of us have been on that blame game situation and not being as proactive as men as we should be. You understand? So I ain't really got no critique of women. I think the critique of women has to be held by women alone. And whatever women feel is the way they're stepping and want to inform us, that's what we need to say, okay, we're in solidarity with that, you know? My thing is more demanding. We need to fix up. I mean, when it comes to me as a youth man, avid gamer, like anyone knows, I was an avid gamer. My yard was with all the man them, you know, would come and catch up on certain things. And my missus was, you know, she was the one from a broken home originally. You know, she had to deal with alcoholism and all that kind of thing. Her dad died when she was young kind of thing.
Right.
But she had enough about her, and she was like, listen, our sons ain't growing up. And
Right,
your
this-
friends is going to be here day in, day out, blazing, drinking. It's not happening. And I was like, what? For me, that seemed like punishment. Like, what do you mean? You're trying to break me up from my man then?
Yeah.
I couldn't see the bigger picture. You understand? It took me a little while. So moving with her in the first place at 17, that was like, you know, it was like punishment for me because I'm leaving my circle, my peers, my trusted peers, and I'm moving with a woman kind of thing and my youths basically. But looking in hindsight now, it was revolutionary. Do you know what I mean? If my youths was in that environment, certain things which come with that territory would seem like a normality. So, you know, done the right thing, moved the family, progressed the family, but then when you come to the hood, you hear things late now, innit? Like, yo, this and that just happened, this and that just happened. You hear afterwards, so you don't feel like you have to react, if that makes sense. But even with that kind of movement and, you know, us two, she worked in banking, you know, me doing the work that I do, violence still visited our youth. You understand? And our youth was nearly killed, like all the rest of the youth along the way, innit?
Yeah.
So at some point, if you don't make yourself part of the solution, you're also part of the problem, you know? So that kind of informs my work, innit? But I think the work that needs to be done community-wise, family-wise, you know, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place, personally. I think there's a lot of healing and there's a lot of ownership. I think the man have to own the situation that our youths are currently in. It shouldn't be down to government. It shouldn't be down to
Mhm.
funding. It shouldn't be down to
Exactly.
anything else. It should just be down to us owning what is.
I was going to say, we're not getting help even in the schools. So
Yeah.
when children are afraid, they're afraid at school, on the way to home, and at home.
Yeah.
Because they don't always feel they can say at home. And if so, they're afraid of the danger they're putting their mother in, if it's just mum. Because obviously the threat comes to your home. Whatever's going on out there, it comes home.
Yeah.
So I just think in our circles, I think we should try and find a way. I know we suggest buses, we suggest panic buttons,
Yeah.
but little devices like that are not expensive. We should really have one, like £5 each,
Yeah.
and we get devices from China made, panic buttons of our own, which go to a certain station whereby we've got men who are ready to step in and help out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mean go fight the force,
So,
but,
so,
just
so I leave it with you. Get the
A
panic.
panic,
Get
that's
the,
what
get
I
the
want.
panic buttons. Get
That-
it to me.
that's what I
I'll
want.
put it up on my website tomorrow
Yeah.
and we'll back it.
That's what I want.
Yeah, but
I
that's,
want us
that's
to have
me.
a-
Whatever you're telling me, if you've got an idea and
Yeah.
a suggestion is good, I say do it, and we'll back it. It's as
I've
simple
got
as that.
10 suggestions,
Yeah,
so
we'll
I'm
back it.
coming.
We'll back it. If we don't back
10.
it, it's different. So yo, I can
I'm
imagine
backing
backing
it.
the thing, but for me,
I'm backing
that
it.
sounds like a sound thing. I had a meeting
Yeah, I'm
with,
backing it.
I
I'm
had a
backing
meeting
it
with
because
some-
safety over everything.
No, I had a meeting
Because
with some
that's where it
corporate
begins.
clients.
They are afraid.
I
So
had a
if
meeting
we
with some
tackle the
corporate
fear,
clients last week Friday,
we go somewhere.
and Uber was on my table, and I was saying to Uber, look, here's my bill for the month, because my studio is open from like 4 till 10, and you know some of the young people are creating music. 17, we say, all right, 7 o'clock to shut off hour, but if you're still there creating, we're still gonna leave them, right? So I'm saying to Uber, here's my bill for the month, you know. So we need to start talking, because I know you do free credits and all the rest of it.
They do.
Your publicity ain't great, so you need to do more. You know, there's parents that are worried, and I literally have to drive youths around after the project to take them home. You understand? So
Yeah.
can you do more in that respect? So there's like, okay, get back to us kind of thing.
Mhm.
There's people there that are in the community and they're doing what they do, but we just don't go direct and say to them, yo, this is what we want.
Yeah.
And even when you go direct and you don't get the answer you want, when you start airing things out on social media,
Yes.
you find that they're
They
quick
listen.
to respond. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think there's things like that. Yeah, there's other people that we can push on, but like I said, I'm more interested in what we can do as a community.
Mhm.
So you know, from little things, I've been saying, listen, we need to start up our own tax fund, funding just us alone. You
Mhm.
understand? People
Mhm.
putting £1 a week quickly.
Yeah.
Talking about London's 2 mil every week in it. Like, come on.
We can
Like,
do
what
it.
are we thinking? Like, I can spare £1. It's not going to kill me.
We can do
No
it.
matter what I go on, even when I'm broke, if £1 came out and it went to the
We
cause,
can do it.
it went to the cause. It is what it is,
We
isn't it?
can
And I'm
do it.
saying, this is the things that we need to be talking about constructively. I don't want to be like, oh, I have to put for a grant
Yeah.
and I got to pit myself against someone else. It's dead, isn't it? I rather the community just has the money and we just do what we're doing. Because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
if we don't come with the answers to kind of protect our community, there's people coming with the answers to put our community in imprisonment and
Mhm.
where it's currently going. So, yeah, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
be quite firm and
Yeah.
quite staunch in these times.
Mhm. Peanut, did you want to say something?
No. I've just listened to Justin. You know, he just echoed a couple of things what I said still, but I do say that us as males, black males, we do need to step up, and because as I said before, there are kids out there who are dropping them. If we don't step up and react, you know, we're failing them. So the work what Justin does is brilliant. You know, I didn't know he done some of the stuff he does, and it's interesting to know. Like, we must get in contact with each other and let me jump on board. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think this is where it has to start somewhere. You know, someone has to pick the baton up and run with it. And I think us here in this building right now can do a lot of things coming together. Outside of here, what is the next step for you, Justin?
Well, the next step really is just getting back into teaching in a practical day in, day out
Mhm.
fashion. We've got a number of commitments with Sonos as well that we need to commit to, because they've backed us quite heavily, to be honest with you. And we've got a lot of things creatively that we want to do with young people, you know, in the area and stuff like that. I think with immediacy, it's more bringing the whole area into a space where people can walk around free again, you know, because it's for me, it's unacceptable that, you know, most of the people that I know in this room, be Peanut over Kenzo Rise, their shine was Mr. Everywhere kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, we all could go everywhere and not feel no way. And I'm saying to these youths, if you're serious about building anything, brand, business, anything, what you're currently doing is bad for business, because you've got to rule out a portion of an area just because of nothing to do with yourself. You understand? So the very first thing is that that we need to try and do is try and bring youths together, working together. And it might not be that the youths that are active are on road. It might just be youths who are just cool. I've got youths in my project who are just chill, but they're from Kilburn. I've got youths who are just chill, they're from Neasden. All right, cool. They all come and link together. Because now, when things start to happen and we start to push them, and they start to make a name for themselves, etc., we're now known as that project that's actually doing what, United Borders. We're bringing young people together. But part of the credibility of what we're doing as well, it comes from working with people like Nines, for example. A lot of people don't know, but I was a person that brokered Nines' deal to XL Records. And, Nines turned to me and they said, look, he's got a deal on the table. He's not sure about it. Like, kind of thinking, you have a look at it. I had a look at it. So now let me go to them. So I went to the head of the record label. I said, look, you ain't going to get him unless you come with a joint venture. 50-50, that's it. This is big old XL Records, isn't it? The man was like, right, if you can get him to sign, we'll get the deal done. I said, I'll get him to sign. Just give us the agreement in principle. So he's like, yeah, cool. Went back to Church Road, said, you have a joint venture. My man started laughing, my man. So really and truly, that's like him gone top 5 twice in the charts, or what have you not. He's also someone his brother was killed, shot X amount of times. And after his brother got killed, me and his brother had a good relationship. Nines was a person that I always leaned on. Like, take him out of the yard, we got there, freestyling, took him to his first festivals. When Akala just started his hip-hop Shakespeare thing, I brought Nines there as well. It's the first time he rapped in front of people, kind of thing. So these are young people that I've been supporting before they even blew. So now when they're doing big things, now signed to Warner's, now got a deal with YouTube and all these kind of things. Now when young people see that, they see, right, hold on a minute, if this person's working with that person's reached here, then I might potentially reach that kind of point as well. But more important than that, you don't know who's gonna go where. So you need to work with a lot of these young people, because trust me, they've got this kind of potential. A lot of them do. But what's not happening is they're not getting the exposure, and they're not getting the time spent with them from us, innit? So I'm here from Bristol, because it's Shine, innit? And I had mad things going on in Bristol, but I'm like, you know what, Shine, Peanuts in the house, like, these are my elders, innit? When they tell me to do things, it doesn't matter what's going on. No, I turn up, and this is the whole thing I'm trying to get across to people, innit? Like, have that respect for your mentors, your elders, especially when they're putting the time. And them man, they wouldn't know how much they impacted me on the come up, you know what I mean? But that's the reality. They impacted me to the point where if a man tells me, yo, come, and I'm looking at my time and I'm thinking, shit, I've got an hour and a half to go, I just got to come. It doesn't matter, innit? Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. So it just really, if you ask me what's the future is just making myself available. I think that's the best way to put it.
Okay, now I was just going to say that coming from out of London, coming into London, I find that I've been very stressed in London. I didn't have this life. My children didn't have this life. The children here are in... The children here...
Expensive.
Yeah. The children here are in prison. It's prison, it's jail. My children, I cannot say comfortably, I can let my big 13-year-old boy, who's my height, come outside and play. I'll be watching every now and again. I will phone. Then I'm like, oh, can't phone too many times, because if he looks at the phone, he might drop something and not realize something else. So many things will run through my mind. Can I go to the park? Maybe with a few people. Can I go to the... But yet he's very independent. He can jump on a train, go here, do that. It's crippling. But you see what you were saying about the ends, putting things together? I've seen it. When I lived out of London, people from Church Road and Stonebridge live happily away from this area. When they're out of London, their children are free. Their children are holding hands, skipping to their loo, going to the barber shop, way out in Hatfield, way out in Welwyn Garden City, Slough, North Holt, just North Holt over there. They're happier than here.
The same thing actually happens when man go to jail. So
yes.
man be on jail feuding, and they buck up in the same prison as next man, and they're cool now. It's just crazy what it takes.
Over once they're together. And their children blend fine. So it is definitely that concrete jungle we're talking about. It's the jungle, in it. Like, you will share the same food if there's no other food. you will eat together, regardless. Because if you see one banana and you're a different species, you will eat that banana together. You will peel it together, you know. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're crossing over.
Peanut, before you go, is there anything you would like to say, especially to the youths?
I would just like to say to the youth there, just mind how you go, stay safe out there. Don't succumb to peer pressure. You know, just be safe out there, man, and think before you act.
Definitely.
Yeah, just think before you act.
My guys, is there anything you would like to say?
Just gotta know. I mean, the only thing I could just say, just quickly wrap this up. Just gotta know what kind of life you want for yourself. That's the only thing I could say, and I'm not gonna do the whole preaching and that. But you just gotta know what life you want for yourself, you know, and if you're gonna be happy with the life you're living now, with the choice you're making, you know, just know, like, is that gonna lead up to a good future for yourself, you know, and your well-being, and that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning into the Chatterbox Show. This is the... Oh, I forgot the names for the hamper. Sorry. Who should I pick?
What's up for grabs?
This is for
The-
the hamper.
The hamper, an Easter hamper.
Yeah, our Easter hamper sponsored by SK Favors. Big up yourself, SK. She's not here today, but she will be in the building
It looks
tomorrow.
nice, though.
Yeah, she's put a lot of work into it.
Yes.
We also want to say big up to Shamibu, big up to CJ Rose. He's not currently here, but he will be back soon, ladies and gentlemen. I know you miss him. Okay, I read the message in and all these things. Big up Frenchie, big up Rapper Crapper. They were supposed to be in the building today, but unfortunately, our wires got crossed. But we will get them back in for another special that we will have in June for our domestic violence. But right now, we're gonna pick out.
Yeah. But my name's not in there though, is it? Yeah. I didn't get a chance, did I? Hey, just say Paul.
Temple Benz is the winner of the Easter hamper. Ta-da! With you know what?
Isn't that a crash?
That's management fault. Which one? Which one is round of applause? Because I pressed P and it didn't come up. Which one? This one? Yeah, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in on the Chatterbox Show. This is our first show of our campaign fighting against gun and knife crime among our youths. We will be back same time next week, same place, right here. We're not going away. We're going to take you out with this one. So I want to say RIP to everyone that's lost their lives to gun and knife crime. And we will see you next week.